Hey, what's up, Dokkan gang? You had a good weekend out there? I know you had a good weekend. If you got to see Ginyu and his boys roll up, I know you had a good weekend, man. We're here with a really cool release. Ginyu Force looks amazing. I love the animation quality. I think the animation fidelity is pretty high. I saw people on Twitter mentioning that they were pretty impressed. Uh, great entry skill, or great entry skill, great active skill, pretty fun unit to have paired with the Topo that came out this celebration. Um, he's not like overtuned or anything, overpowered as they say, but definitely a positive unit to have released with the Topo that dropped in this celebration. I'm not mad at it. I know some people want him to be a little more. Um, I don't disagree with that. You could always make characters stronger in Dokkan, but one thing I think is very cool about this character is not only does he initially and immediately buff the let's say campaign that's going on right now in JP, but he's cool. He's like you get this like key effect that's different based on the key you get, um, which adds this. I don't want to say complexity because in a lot of ways you mostly end up getting the same suite of supers, but it does add a level of decision making to runs when most people would just autopilot. I know Truth had a showcase where a lot of people pointed out that despite people saying that this would be very hard to get, he actually just like straight up missed opportunities to get it, and that's cool. Not to like rain on his parade or anything, but it's cool. It's cool to have that like flexibility. Um, Again, special pose went from a nothing category to pretty usable. If you like Topo, if you like the Ginyus, if you like characters like Ribrian or just the tournament power in general, you're pretty excited about this. This was a good way to sort of end the recent block of content on JP. And my only concern is that by the time Global gets access to this unit, I fear that he might have already aged out completely. It doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like they'll make any huge difficulty jumps, but it's always that threat of units like this that are super specialized and don't have any of the generically good meta traits like guard and really high damage reduction. This is like guard and then like pretty middling damage reduction. But I mean, we hope. Next, Global got an early access to these two EZAs. Well, this EZA was expected. This EZA is early. This no doubt has something to do with the sync. Um, and while it does, this is pretty disappointing. Not because the sync isn't coming, not because we don't want the sync, not because this and that reason, but it just is a reminder that there is literally nothing to do on Global. If you're a Global player, you have nothing to do on Dokkan whenever you log into the game other than your dailies and the paltry 5 to 10 stone monthly campaign missions. Basically, like we are in a drought. Golden Week's coming though. Maybe there'll be some kind of event that is fun for Global players to do, but even then I wouldn't expect it. I mean, think about it, like what's the actual chance that they drop an event that is difficult enough to compete with JP's box and also easy enough that our very undertuned Global accounts can do it? I don't know, man. So it is cool to get go tanks, but ultimately this is just stones. Next, we have this point that Truth made at the drop for Ginyu, which is time to have that comfortable talk. For what reason in the world is LR Captain Ginyu not on Global right now? 2. Why drop a filler banner instead of Ginyu on both versions? Are they idiots? Parentheses, yes. This is because Global is getting a filler banner, just a completely nothing. It has Triku on it, if you want to know the extent of how uninteresting things are on Global. Nano replies, it's almost like telling us about the sync when they did was a bad idea. This is a point I've maintained, and Truth could test it here. I'll disagree with that forever. Telling us was a good thing, but they've badly managed how everything has gone down, including not nearly enough info given about how the process will go down. To which Nano replies, it reminds me of games getting announced 10 years before they'll come out. We don't want or need to know that far in advance. Let us know and drop it that day. 1 week later, 1 month later, that would actually be hype, not whatever this would become. I agree with that, but I don't think the most important update ever in a live service game is similar to announcing a game too soon. Yeah, I'll just say this. I think he's brought this up before. Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ announcing rollback and then handling like it did and putting out a bunch of like sloppy releases is parallel to Dokkan's treatment of the sync. It has functionally killed that game from a hype perspective. No one is hype about Dragon Ball FighterZ anything anymore unless you play it competitively or, much like me, you're a long-time fighting game player and you will watch whatever they put on at tournaments because you simply love fighting games. There is such a thing as jumping the gun. That is why if you're a video game developer, they typically work within 3 to 6 month windows. They want people to have a buzz that they can reignite at any time. What they did instead is pop their, pop their metaphorical cherry really early. Someone compares it to Sparking Zero. It's not comparable at all. This person is right. There is a balance to strike between announcing something too early and waiting too long. But Sparking Zero and GTA 5 or 6 are the examples of when you can do this, which is a new game, a new thing that is happening. You can announce almost at any time because you can leak info, you can tease info, you can drop trailers. It all still works within that like quarterly release schedule. Saying this in worldwide download the worldwide download celebration last year, which is coming up. We're almost there. We're almost a year out. And then leaving global in these huge swaths of content droughts is not the same as announcing a new game that no one's played in advance. It just isn't. It just isn't. I mean, it is what it is. There's no reason to announce it because all you've done is deflate the interest until it drops, and then we'll all be interested, of course. But we're all just deflated, feeling these droughts on global, where it's like, oh, new characters dropping. It doesn't matter, because we're gonna be on global here playing, fighting legendary event Goku and Omega Shenron. None of this matters. But that did bring up something, which is that this Gotenks Super Easy Aid, and the Super Easy Aids have been good across the board. They just have. I don't have any problem with them. We have Air Dokkan here, who says, I don't understand why they locked the best part of the kit behind the 11 key SA, which we will never see. There's some contention here because the 11 key is the damage reduction and crit, and obviously the 12 key is the dodge. There's some talk here about his defense and what it'll mean if you get 12 key and then he doesn't dodge this or that. And we sort of round out to this talk here, which is, even if he did have an 83% to dodge on 12 key, the trade-off still wouldn't be worth it by a long shot. Yes, it would. Learn the game, says Truth. To which Axel responds, he has sub 600k def. If he does his 12 key super, rather, he's going to get obliterated if he takes even one normal. And Truth responds, wait a minute, the 2016 Dokkan Fest won't take anything and everything like he is fucking LR Beast Gohan? Wow, man, I am so shocked. This is a dodge or die character who has the potential to hang around with normals. And the reason I bring this up is because these two people sort of encapsulate what's happened this week with Dokkan, which is, I just want 2024 EZA not to take half my health away when he gets hit. And Star here says, Truth, as a tank, Gotenks defender, bring up a unit's original age when discussing the Super EZA is absolutely irrelevant. The entire point is to buff super old characters, man. Of course they're old, means nothing. Actually makes them rare. Sure. The point is to buff them, but people need to understand, not only are they making new units, if people have these units already, if they make them too good, I'm speaking beyond myself right now. I'm speaking strictly from a business standpoint. If they make them too good, it means you won't pull on the future banners in a efficient, from an efficiency standpoint. If Gotenks was the best, if they dropped Super EZA Gotenks best character in the game, you would be less incentivized to pull on future banners unless you really like those characters. Whereas Dokkan wants to power creep in a way that not only incentivizes you to pull on characters you love, but incentivizes you to pull on characters that you need. This is why, if I'm honest, the marriage of Super EZAs being this good and Super EZAs being old is mostly a merciful task by Dokkan. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that the two we've seen so far have been as good as they are should come as a surprise, and they should be taken in context of being 2016 characters. Even if you think that this character is a quote unquote 2024 EZA, you kind of shouldn't. This is still a 2016 character, because if this was a 2024 EZA, they'd be Kefla. They'd be the Indigo tanks, which are maybe not rare, obviously, because these are so old, but these are in the shop for 150 coins, right? When the character gets Super EZA'd, I bought the Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who did the same thing. They want these characters to be usable. They want them to be good. They want them to be good enough that you spend that small bit of coins, but they don't want them to be too good. Because if you're like me and you are a low spender or a free-to-play player, guess what? Yeah, I'm not pulling on a new unit if this character fills their spot on the team, because that new unit is worthless. And lastly, for this week in Dokkan, they released this character on this fight on JP. It is a long form legendary event, Frieza. The stats are pretty pithy, but the character does have the potentiality to crit. And Scarlet here says Dokkan needs average difficulty events 2, so this is fine. We have infinite heart stages. This is true. It just is. Global doesn't, but JP does. This is another example of why isn't this on global? Maybe it will be. Maybe this will age poorly, but there's no reason this shouldn't be on global. This isn't hard enough not to be on global. Even when this crits and he hits for almost 2 million, this is merged Zamasu damage. This just is Zamasu damage at this point. Turn 3. Someone says this is like turn 3 Zamasu damage. It might be in here. But either way, there's no reason we couldn't have gotten this on global, so we have anything to do. Instead, this is just another event for JP players to get stones in and then probably not really care about. But they did introduce critting to the game for bosses, and I do not think this will be too toxic, if I'm honest. I think dodge is so powerful that it kind of doesn't matter, unfortunately, and damage reduction is so powerful that it kind of doesn't matter. They've already shown that outside of Anniversary, they're not super willing to drop hardest content in the game, this or that. Merge Zamasu was toxic, but I feel that was mostly a product of the characters released that year being terrible. If they drop a character who is a Merge Zamasu-esque fight to the standard of 2024 so far, even with the banner units, they're cooking them. You can't drop a Merge Zamasu level fight in 2024 and not expect Vegeta to dog stomp him. He's gonna walk him. But yeah, that was this week in Dokkan. Peace.